Hi folks, Joseph Kursky here with you to talk about what is GIS, or Geographic Information Systems. Well, there are several ways to define it. First of all, GIS is part of the geotechnologies. Back in 2004, the U.S. Department of Labor identified 3 hot fields for the 21st century: nanotechnologies, biotechnologies, and geotechnologies. GIS, along with GPS, web mapping, and remote sensing, are part of the geotechnologies. Now, what is GIS? GIS is all about solving spatial problems in our world, from local to global scale. What do I mean by spatial problems? I mean any problem that has to do with the where question. Where are the fire hydrants in my community? Where are natural hazards, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, etc., occurring over space and time? How do they affect communities? What about potential sea level rise and its impact on coastal lands? What about energy, water, migration, etc., human health? They all have a where component, and hence they can be studied, analyzed, and solved with the use of geographic information systems. Now, GIS is composed of several key ingredients, if you will. Hardware, software, and that software, by the way, is increasingly up in the cloud or on the web. Data, spatial data, maps, satellite images, etc. Also real-time feeds from the Internet of Things. Tools, methods, how do I figure out what the 100 or 500-year floodplain is in my community? So tools and methods. And people, networks of people making a difference, solving problems in a decision-making environment, in government, nonprofit, private industry, from local to global. GIS is a key technology for our 21st century world. As we have increased pressure on the environment, as we have increased population, we have to grapple with and deal with and solve these spatial problems, again, from a local to global scale. GIS is all about critical thinking, spatial thinking, and making our world more sustainable, healthier, and happier. Thanks.
So what is tourism? It's an ocean of positive emotions and great feelings, unique places and unforgettable impressions, new knowledge and introduction to other cultures, unity with the nature and endless adrenaline, all-night fun and undisturbed relaxation, making interesting contacts and getting new opportunities, full freedom and fulfillment of desires.
What is tourism? And basically, I'll give you the academic answer right up front, but I don't like it very much. As a matter of fact, it's about this boring. I took this picture last year, and this guy was seriously bored. Here's the answer. Tourism is the sum of the phenomena and relationships arising from the interaction of tourist, business suppliers, host governments, and host communities in the process of attracting and hosting these tourists and other visitors. Now that we've got that out of the way, we can come up with a better answer. One that I found on a university website that I like a lot better. They had a course on tourism, and it has 3 components that make up tourism. The first is you have to travel someplace, and preferably someplace you normally never go to. The second component is you have to do things you typically don't do. And the third component is it needs to be something enjoyable. All three of these components have to be in place because, well, if you go someplace you normally don't go to and do something you normally don't do, you may not quite be a tourist. So, in short, go someplace you've never been, do something you normally don't do, and have fun doing it. And I'm going to let that be my answer to what is tourism.
Travel. Amazing landscapes, impossible routes, delicious meals, and some unforgettable memories. But how do we plan our trips? We search our destination and we open internet blogs, forums, and websites with all kinds of information. We make notes from one site to another, trying to locate them on a map. How to get from one place to another? What would it cost me for the trip? Will I have enough time with 2 weeks of traveling? What can I do with CoAtlas? You can search routes that other users have shared, filter your searching, and view on a single screen all of your trip information. You can create your own route, point out the places you want to visit, upload your photos, and write your daily trip. And also, share your route with your friends with CoAtlas, and who knows, maybe find a new travel companion.
The second app that I find myself using all the time when I'm traveling is Uber, as I don't have a car when I'm traveling, and I'm not old enough or eligible to rent a car anywhere yet, so I pretty much have to go by public transportation or taxi. With public transportation, if you're in a foreign place, it makes it very easy to get lost, and it tends to take longer as well. Taxis, on the other hand, if you're in a place like LA, are going to be very hard to call and can tend to cost more than you may have expected. Uber is not available where I live, as I live in a pretty small place in Canada, but when I went to LA twice in the last 6 months, I used Uber to get around everywhere and I've had no problems with it whatsoever. While I was in LA, I tended to go from the airport to Santa Monica to downtown, and those seemed to be some pretty far trips. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this from the US already know how Uber works, but I thought I'd just include it in this episode as I cannot stress how much easier it has made my vacations. The last app is one that I'm sure everyone knows about, and it is pre-installed on your phone, but like I mentioned at the start of this video, this is going to be more of an opinionated video and showing you what apps I use when I travel. The future episodes will probably be featured on certain topics and the top 5 apps in a curated category. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I pretty much travel through 2 forms of transportation when I get to my given place, through Uber and by foot. As someone who is really bad with directions, even though I live in a very small city of a population of about 300,000 and get lost all the time, Google Maps is able to provide a timely estimate as to how long it would take for me to walk to a given place for a meeting, for example. It's what I use when I travel by foot, and I can pretty much just hop on the app, which is constantly updated as it is a Google app, and expect to get to the place in the estimated time given to me.
The storms we chase are leading. This is Michael. He's a professional tour guide. And this is Jane. She loves traveling. Both of them are using Guidoo, a mobile platform for tourism which instantly connects tourists and guides from all over the world in real time. When registering in the Guidoo Partner app, each guide has the chance to create unique tours, choose their own work schedule and prices. Thanks to Guidoo, Michael has the ability to see and invite tourists in the area instantly and share information about his tours. Jane downloaded the Guidoo app for tourists. While getting to her destination, she read all relevant guide reviews, studied available tours, and paid her tour of choice all through the Guidoo app. Guidoo is the freedom of choice. We guide, you explore.